Doug Walker. Doug Walker. Also known by his other alias, Nostalgia Critic, Walker is a YouTuber, film critic, and comedian known for co-founding the site ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com in 2008. Eventually, this would be merged into Channel Awesome, which is what the channel is known as today. Walker first gained notoriety when he posted his first ever review on YouTube in July of 2007, which was a 2-minute long video on the first Transformers film released that exact same year. The video itself felt pretty new and innovative in a way, since this was still just like the very early days of YouTube. So just seeing some guy go on a 2-minute long rant about a movie seemed to really gravitate towards people. Walker actually surprisingly kept this bit going long after his first review. He eventually made similar short and nonsensical reviews of the Transformers movies up till Transformers The Last Night. He even went as far as to create a fictionalized version of Michael Bay in videos where he reviewed his movies, which I don't really blame Doug. Especially when Bay makes stuff like this.
You guys forced me into that car, right? So
I think he's scared.
what are we gonna do with this shrimp taco?
Just bump a cap in his ass, throw him in the truck, and then nobody gonna know nothing, not me.
This grossed over $800 million, by the way. But the rest, as they say, is history. Doug has continued to post weekly reviews every Wednesday on Channel Awesome and has seen a small resurgence in popularity within the YouTube stratosphere in the last couple of years. However, I'd personally like to share my own journey with how I found the Nostalgia Critic himself. He's honestly still like one of my favorite YouTubers of all time on this entire site. I mean, he's like right up there with Smosh and ERB in my own personal Mount Rushmore Hall of Fame. I remember specifically that I happened to come across the infamous movie Son of the Mask on Cartoon Network when I was like really young, and I ended up just hating that movie a whole lot, as well as just being psychologically scarred for life with the amount of disgusting atrocities that it had on screen.
And again, do we expect anything different from the same movie where a baby pisses 5 streams of piss and then pisses a giant stream of piss like a fireman's hose in Jamie Kennedy's face?
That movie may honestly have to get its own video because I have a lot of things to say about that absolute nightmare. Jesus freaking Christ. Anyways, after I watched it, I was scrolling on YouTube trying to see if there were any other movie reviews about it, because I just had to know like what other people thought about this. And lo and behold, one of the top 2 videos recommended to me was Nostalgia Critic's review of the movie. And I was like, Nostalgia Critic? Like, what, like nostalgia for the 80s? But I watched the video anyway, and just the way he echoed my same exact thoughts about the movie while also making it extremely comedic, like weirdly intrigued me at the time. I ended up watching more of his videos soon after, and I was subscribed for like the longest time up until around 4 or 5 years ago. But there are times where I still check out his videos nowadays, and some of them are pretty good from the ones I have seen. He also weirdly inspired me to look at movies in a more critical view and just film criticism as a whole, rather than just watch a movie in a pretty like neutral way. Don't get me wrong, I don't always agree with his critique in some of his reviews in retrospect, but the ones where he gives like legit and thoughtful criticism I found to be resonant to me personally. And for that reason, I will always have an appreciation for Doug and Nostalgia Critic as a character, because he was just one of the first YouTubers I fell in love with. So thank you, Mr. Walker. I appreciate your service. And so that's why today, I'm going to rank my top 11 favorite Nostalgia Critic reviews. Mainly because there isn't really a well-known video, surprisingly, on YouTube that ranks Nostalgia Critic's best reviews. Well, besides like when Walter Benasiak did that top 5 best Nostalgia Critic episodes. But for one that was in celebration of the 200th episode, I think, of Nostalgia Critic. I also know there's like those compilation playlists that people make of Doug's best like Nostalgia Critic reviews. But obviously I don't consider those as individual rankings as well. But that time ends now, because I'm going to personally make my own top 11 best Nostalgia Critic episodes. Why top 11?
Because I like to go one step beyond. So, sit back and enjoy the top 11.
First things first, some quick ground rules. I'm mainly going to have 2 key criteria when it comes to this specific ranking. Number 1 is the review offers really good to pretty great criticism about the movie he covers. And number 2 is how funny or comedic the video itself is. Because I think that more so sometimes can favor a review for me if the film critiques themselves aren't like particularly strong. And a small third one is my own personal bias for the movie itself. Like if it's a movie he reviews that I don't really like, that also can play a factor into the ranking as well. Alright, with that out of the way, it's time to count down my top 11 favorite Nostalgia Critic reviews. Also, one last thing, I've only rewatched like 100-ish episodes for this ranking, so some that might be considered the best may not be on here, mainly just because I haven't rewatched them in a long time, so I'm sorry in advance if your favorite NC episode isn't on here. Let's start off with some honorable mentions first. Okay, this one isn't really an honorable mention, I just wanted to talk about it. But NC's review of Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed I think is really underrated and really funny, even though I don't particularly agree with most of his critiques on the movie itself.
Coolsville sucks.
I mainly really like this one because it's a sequel to his original Scooby-Doo review from season 5, and was also infamous because it marked the last review of the original era of Nostalgia Critic before he retired the character, and then he made those Channel Awesome movies, and Pawqua's Hotshot, and demo reel. So one recurring character, Roger, played by this guy, who originally appeared in the season 3 finale episode, You're a Dirty Rotten Bastard, a Christmas special. Then he returned the season 5 finale episode, Scooby-Doo, and then he returned the aforementioned season 9 episode, Scooby-Doo 2. So in his first ever appearance, he's like Critic's guardian angel or something.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I am your guardian angel. Yeah.
Why did he have a fair reply? What? But the video itself is mostly just a It's a Wonderful Life type of parody skit, and Roger's just showing the Nostalgia Critic what his life would be like if he never even existed.
No, I'm through dicking around here, Canada. You get rid of that snobby little province of Quebec, or I'm gonna get rid of it for you, you understand? You see, the American people, they didn't elect me to be some kind of pushover.
I love how Angry Joe is just president of the United States in this timeline. It is kind of just tragically comedic how this whole video just kind of shows everyone who was associated with Channel Awesome at the time just being better off if the Nostalgia Critic didn't exist. Wow, I guess Doug has been self-aware since frickin' day one. Then in the season 5 finale, he like resides over purgatory, and when the NC is transported there, he tells him a clue as to why the world is ending.
At least give me a hint.
All I can tell you is it has something to do with your review.
Ha.
Well, that you'll have to figure out on your own.
Why?
Think of it as my way of saying,
Coolsville sucks.
Then in the season 9 episode, he makes his grand return, and then he tries to kill the NC for whatever reason. Then the whole review is like a psych parody, and Roger disguises himself as a cop and keeps making it so obvious it's him doing all this stuff.
she's not the one who did it. It was me, Roger. It was Roger all along. Roger. I'm Roger. I'm the one. Roger.
An absolute Oscar-worthy performance right here. Sorry, that was a lot of Nostalgia Critic lore, but I just really love this character for some reason, as well as just the guy who plays him too. He eats it up every single time. Anyways, the actual jokes in the review of the movie itself are okay, but I think what makes it really good for me is like the overarching skit and everything to do with Roger, obviously. Okay, now on to the real honorable mentions. So at number 16, we have NC's review of Freddy Got Fingered from season 11. Look, I know a lot of people don't really like the post-demo reel era type of stuff Doug does, but I'm gonna be completely real. I think when they're done right, they can be just really funny. As someone who's always loved skit type of humor, I appreciate it from that angle, and sometimes it can be a creative way to do a film critique without just necessarily talking the entire time. But yeah, I just really like the No Country for Old Men parody that he does with the cast, and I like how he tries to both point out how the movie is one of the worst things ever made, but also weirdly genius at the same time, to the point of him just turning into Anton Chigurh.
So bad it changes your perception of bad altogether.
Holy shit, is that a Mad Max 2 reference? Also, it literally just has probably one of my favorite cutoff clips from any video ever.
Oh hey, you forgot your grenade! You didn't forget this, did you?
At number 15, we have NC's review of 8 Crazy Nights from the season 6 finale. Oh yeah, that's right. I still own the freaking DVD of this. That's how you know this review is legit. So not only was this in the season where the NC came back from his retirement of the character, But it also features the first Adam Sandler movie that he covered, and it's weirdly such an obscure Sandler movie from his filmography. But then you remember this was a Christmas episode, so it makes a lot of sense why he chose it, even though it's technically a Hanukkah movie, but whatever. The review itself is another one where it's just really funny, much like the previous honorable mention. But I think his critiques are genuinely pretty on point, and that skit he does when he's on the phone with Adam Sandler is just...
Pretty amazing, huh?
Mr. Sandler, I think I speak for all the world when I say that
Coolsville sucks.
Number 14 is NC's review of the Smurfs from season 8. I was kind of shocked to see that this is still like in the top 5 of Doug's most popular Nostalgia Critic reviews as of 2025. And it's honestly not that hard to see why that is. So this time I more so just like how funny this review is more than his actual critiques. And that's mainly just due to the fact because of Black Nerd being the main feature in this. His chemistry and Nostalgia Critic, as well as just his charisma in general, I think really elevates this review a lot more in my opinion. Which honestly just makes me wish that he was featured more in Nostalgia Critic reviews, because honestly he complements Doug's style like really well. And I think their banter is just really good back and forth type of stuff. Also, I just like the epic voice guy cameo at the end. That was pretty cool.
Surround of pop songs, looks cute, raps in the corner, alters some white idiot's life.
Too late!
Number 13 is NC's review of Small Soldiers from season 7. This one I just watched like fairly recently, and I don't know why, but it's another review that's pretty underrated in a lot of aspects. I think it has a nice balance of good critiques with some really good comedy as well. I like how he has that Joe Dante cliche counter throughout the entire review. And this is coming from someone who likes Dante as a director.
can't help but automatically look over our Joe Dante checklist. Rustic old town that looks like the 50s? Check. Whimsical Jerry Goldsmith score? Check. Dick Miller as a blue-collar worker still unable to squint his eyes open?
But I gotta be completely honest here for a second. The main reason it cracks this high on the honorable mention list has nothing to do with the review itself. I just really wanted to talk about famous character actor Dick Miller for like 5 seconds.
One whole set. I'll lose the paperwork someplace. This better not come back and bite me on the ass.
Saturday night, and you know what that means. We're gonna take a bath and watch the 1984 interesting movie Gremlins.
And finally at number 12 we have NC's review of Food Fight, also from season 7. So I'm pretty sure this is still like one of Nostalgia Critic's most popular videos to this day. And it's also for a good reason as well. Again, it has that good balance of both critique and humor, and I like how the video bookends itself with the critic having the biggest mental breakdown known to man. And the thing was too, I'm like almost 100% positive this was like one of his most requested movie reviews as well. So it's not even like he willingly chose to review this. But regardless, it definitely is still one of the worst movies he's ever reviewed to this very day. Like probably bottom 5 all time. And if you've seen the movie yourself, that is not an exaggeration whatsoever.
I'm your new brand X representative. I wasn't expecting any new products. Gross! I was frozen today!
Now with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get started with the true top 11 reviews.
Finally!
Number 11. Nostalgia Critic's review of Fantastic Four from season 10. Fantastic Four? Fan Four Stick? I don't know. I mean, this movie sucks either way. So I'd only watched this review fairly recently after finally watching Fan Four Stick before watching the review, and this is more a case of the critiques being better than the actual comedic elements in my opinion. Like, there's still some funny moments obviously, but it's one of those episodes where Doug just goes full on critic mode, and most of the criticisms that he had to say I absolutely agree with. Like how everything is just visually gray and dark and just not interesting whatsoever.
I'm sure this will in no way... You know what? Hold on a second. Turn on a light! Sorry, I had to get that out just once.
Say that again?
Or Dr. Doom being an even worse villain than the previous 2 movies combined.
Correctly, this dark, gritty, realistic version still has a guy named Von Doom in it. Because Professor Von Evil Nasty wasn't obvious enough.
And how for literally almost the entire movie, it's just scenes of people talking in dark freaking rooms. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Why is this fantastic? Why is this fantastic? Your goddamn movie is called Fantastic Four, and you can't even get one fantastic thing in it. Why is talking in a goddamn dark room fantastic?
Like, yes, this is exactly what I want in my blockbuster superhero movie. People word vomiting for 80 minutes of the total runtime and having no action scenes until the very end of the movie. So yeah, thanks a lot, 20th Century Fox. Or wait, I guess it's Disney now. Thanks a lot, Disney. But yeah, I think this review shows that when Doug needs to, he can absolutely lock in and deliver some insightful critiques on a movie without the video overly relying on just the comedy. But also I like how he, again, brings back a running bit from his Fantastic Four review where it's just him, Malcolm, and Tamara dressing up in costume to do absolutely nothing but eat chips and watch TV instead of actually crime fighting.
Clobbering time!
Yeah, in the context of the movie, that line really should be...
There is no victor. There is only doom.
Number 10. Nostalgia Critic's review of Man on the Moon from season 12. Okay, this one's weird because it's stylized like an editorial video with the title of the review, but it's like nearly 30 minutes long, so I think it obviously counts as an episode. Regardless, this episode is honestly pretty great, even rewatching it now. Even though I myself liked the movie when I finally watched it earlier this year, I think NC's critiques are really valid arguments for why this doesn't capture what made Andy Kaufman so great as a comedian in the first place. I think definitely the movie itself is held up mostly by Jim Carrey's performance, but I agree with Doug's critique when he says that most of the movie cuts out all the stuff that made Kaufman interesting, as well as just being a compilation of his greatest hits, essentially.
But instead, a lot of the movie is just showing his routines, almost in their entirety, even when it's not needed. And yeah, I know the irony that I said the opening should have gone all the way with a bit, and now I'm saying they should have scaled back on others. But these are routines you can see anywhere. Many fans already know them inside out, and even
Likewise, in terms of my own personal critiques, there are times where it just didn't feel like I was watching an actual portrayal of Kaufman himself. It rather just felt like an imitation at times, even though I still think it's a top 10 Carrey performance of all time. It's like right up there with The Grinch and Dr. Robotnik.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk. What do I look like, an imbecile? Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make
Of course, until he ruined it when this documentary came out 25 years after the initial movie's release, and then subsequently made Carrey seem like a giant egotistical piece of shit.
How far should I take this? How far would Andy take it?
But again, much like the previous spot, this is another case where the comedic aspects take a backseat in order for Doug's more actual personal thoughts to take the forefront, and I think in turn it makes for a really good review overall.
Not give you support. Too late! Too late! It's too late!
How far would Andy take it?
Number 9. Nostalgia Critic's review of Felix the Cat, the movie from season 4. I'm not even kidding. And don't get me wrong, Food Fight is bad. But Felix the Cat, the movie, is somehow on the same level, if not slightly worse than that is. Also, I just wanted to quickly mention, when I first watched this review when I was younger, I used to get Felix the Cat confused with Fritz the Cat, even though they're not the same thing whatsoever. And also, Fritz the Cat was done by Ralph Bakshi, who also did Cool World, another childhood classic of mine, so go figure. Anyways, we have the first early era of a Nostalgia Critic episode on the list, and it's probably from one of my most favorite seasons from that said era. Unlike the previous 2 entries where it was more critical-based than comedy-based, this is the complete opposite, and it is probably a Nostalgia Critic episode I could rewatch constantly. I just love like the frequent jokes about how annoying Felix is, and how the animation is just terrible, and none of the voice acting syncs up to the characters at all, and it's just really great stuff from Doug.
Okay, so you might notice, well, to be perfectly honest, all the problems with the movie in the first 2 minutes. Yeah, actually everything wrong with this film you can sum up in literally the first 2 minutes. Firstly, the animation is obnoxious. It needs riddling. Second, it has the same problem as The Magic Voyage. It's just constant noise.
This is also just one of the worst movies he's ever viewed as well, and again, if you've seen the movie yourself, this is not an exaggeration at all.
That's real good. Listen, pussycat, you want to eat? Then you work.
My name is Felix.
Stop that!
Stop it, please! I beg you!
Number 8. Nostalgia Critic's review of Thomas and the Magic Railroad from season 5. Okay, I have something to admit about this movie. I used to absolutely love this when I was like really, really young, and that's mainly just because I used to be obsessed with Thomas the Tank Engine, And when watched the original show it's based on, where freaking George Carlin was like the narrator.
My funnel's cold, my funnel's cold, he puffed. I want a scarf, I want a scarf. Rubbish, Percy, said Henry. Engines don't wear scarves.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Percy. This is like Train Lore 101. However, as much as I loved that movie all those years ago, I rewatched it this year in honor of its 25th anniversary, and yeah, no, this movie sucks.
Coolsville sucks.
I get it's supposed to be for like really young audiences or just like really hardcore fans of the original show. But if that's the case, then why the hell is Thomas barely in this goddamn movie then? I mean, for Christ's sake, his name is in the title of the movie, and he barely does anything, let alone be the focus of his own movie. This just feels like those other IP-based movies where you have insert random character here, and yet they take a huge backseat in order to focus on other characters you could care less about. As someone who was a huge fan of the original show and Thomas as a character, this movie is simply bad because it just feels like a generic family adventure movie that also just happens to have Thomas the Tank Engine in it. Anyways, Nostalgia Critic's review of this movie is still really funny. I mean, this episode has some of the most iconic bits in the entire series, like the Peter Fonda bit.
But I've never been able to make up for the mistake I made.
Okay, Peter, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're trying way too hard here. This isn't Yuli's gold, it's Thomas the fucking Tank Engine!
Or Alec Baldwin saying sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Literally, Alec Baldwin in this movie is just kind of like the funny bad performance, which kind of makes the movie a little bit more enjoyable.
Losing your sparkle, huh? What is that? That's right, it's sugar, Diesel. And if I throw this in your tank, it'll seize you up for good.
Wait, why would sugar destroy trains? What?
You can't be this stupid! You can't! I mean, you literally just stated out loud why this movie can't work! I mean, what are you, a moron?
And you even have Nostalgia Critic's random-ass feud with Mara Wilson.
Mara Wilson. Clearly at the age where she's embarrassed to be seen in this piece of crap, and clearly just doing this to pay off her future student loans.
Actually, this was all part of her plan because 7 episodes later, she'd come back and do this. I mean, this really has it all comedy-wise. But seriously, why in the hell were Alec Baldwin and Peter Fonda in this? Like, what kid would even know who these two guys are?
I just don't seem to understand about
Sugar, Diesel.
Number 7. Nostalgia Critic's review of North from Season 2. Okay, now we're starting to get into the absolute classics. And for this one, we go all the way back to Season 2. This is one of the few movies I had never watched or even heard of before. So my first exposure to it was when I originally watched the review as a kid. The first time I did watch the review, I said, there's no way it could be that bad, right? Right? Well, I can officially report after seeing the movie for myself last year, yeah, no, it's pretty bad. It's not one of the worst things Nostalgia Critic has ever reviewed, but it is quite a marvel how it manages to be offensively bad on nearly all fronts. I mean, this is literally infamous as the movie that broke Roger Ebert in his review for it.
I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated every simpering, stupid, vacant, audience-insulting moment of it.
Rip Roger Ebert, you would have loved North. As for the NC's video itself, it's again just really funny, and there's also just some iconic gems in here, like the where's the joke bit.
Humor! In fact, I'm gonna play a little game with you. It's a wonderful game to play with a lot of really bad movies, and it's simply called Spot the Joke!
He died in a stampede.
I'm so sorry.
Needless to say, it was a mighty big loss.
Oh, wait a minute! Big loss! Because he's
Sneakers O'Toole.
And then the Dick Cheney joke is pretty funny.
Nothing better than to do away with our little friend.
My God, it's a young Dick Cheney!
But my absolute favorite part of this entire review is where he fully just loses it at the end when it's revealed it was all just a dream.
It was all a dream.
Also, this might just feature one of the worst jokes in the history of cinema ever.
Made myself clear to the defense.
Your Honor, the defense rests. Wow. I mean, wow. That is the worst joke I've ever heard in my entire life.
What a sick joke!
Just another example of the comedy being better than the actual critiques themselves, but it's still in my top 11 for a reason. It's a certified hood classic. However, it does get dock points for that weird-ass Scarlett Johansson joke he says near the end.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing your ass in Lost in Translation. It's gonna look great.
You what? What a sick joke!
Number 6. Nostalgia Critic's review of Tom and Jerry the movie from season 1. The first and only review from season 1, Tom and Jerry the movie, is another one I still own on DVD and have possession of. I actually also used to watch this movie a lot as a kid, and I was obsessed with this movie, mainly just because I love the original Tom and Jerry shorts, which I also own on DVD still. Unfortunately, much like 8 Crazy Nights, I rewatched this last year for the first time in a long time, and yeah, it's also pretty bad too.
Coolsville sucks.
I will say, I think the animation is pretty good for the most part, and some of the songs are okay, but everything else about it should be classified as a damn war crime. Which brings me to NC's review of the movie, and I know there's not like an official iconic review, but I'm going to be dead serious. This one to me is probably up there, if not number 1 on some days. The amount of memorable gags and jokes in this is insane, even still rewatching the review several times over since. Like the joke where he drinks watermelon sangria in reaction to Tom and Jerry talking for the first time.
Just speak to each other? No. It's gotta be a mistake. I gotta be hearing things. I'm gonna just go ahead and eat my customary 3-pound watermelon and drink my traditional pitcher of sangria both at the same time while I confirm how wrong I was about this ridiculous misunderstanding.
What do you think I am, a dummy?
You said it.
Holy crap!
You also got the
We've got to have money.
Or the fact that the Nostalgia Critic keeps referring to Robin's dad as Indiana Jones throughout the entire review.
How about a little orphan who's trying to find her father, Indiana Jones?
Overall, I think his critiques are decent, but again, the jokes are what I think elevated up to this spot. I will give the movie this. Sure, Tom and Jerry talk, but at least it's not that crappy reboot they did in 2021 where they like live in a hotel or something. And then the photographer girl from Diary of a Wimpy Kid works there. And then like Peter from Deadpool owns the hotel. And then like Scarlett Johansson's husband is getting married or something. Okay, how is this a Tom and Jerry movie again?
We've got to have money.
Number 5. Nostalgia Critic's review of Osmosis Jones from Season 8. Starting off with the top 5 now, we have NC's review of the 2001 live-action/animated film Osmosis Jones. So this is around the era where I consistently started watching Channel Awesome's content, and honestly, like Season 6 to 9ish, I think is a really underrated era for Nostalgia Critic. Anyways, this movie is another one that was an absolute childhood classic of mine. And it's ironic because even now as an adult, the parts that I liked when I was a kid are still the same parts that I like now. The animation in this is like really good. Almost too good for a movie directed by the Farley brothers. Which, I'll let you take a wild guess why this movie doesn't always work for me. I'll give you a hint, it rhymes with Farley brothers. I have nothing against these guys personally. Mostly. I just don't really like their style of comedy because it's just the exact same gross out shtick for every single movie they've done together so far. Likewise, NC's review of the film, I think, places this high just, again, it has a good balance of really good critiques while also having really good comedy bits. Like the always classic
The family picture! That's gonna haunt the shit out of me!
Or again, how he just points out the amount of buddy cop cliches that are in this.
So here's a fun drinking game. Take a shot every single time there's a cop movie cliche. I know what you're thinking, come on, it's a cop movie. Of course there's gonna be some cop cliches, but let's just try the next 3 minutes. 3 minutes, let's count how many cop cliches there are. All right, that's 7 shots! 7?
See, the joke here is that you'd be dead if you played this game. But obviously the biggest critique the NC gives in the review comes in the form of having a Chris Rock impersonator just talk about how Inside Out literally just ripped the movie off, even though that came out like 14 years after it and honestly just did the concept a lot better, but okay. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a bit weird and maybe just pure coincidence in all honesty, but I think Osmosis Jones was different because that dealt more with like internal organs, where Inside Out did mostly like emotions and stuff to do with the brain. Oh wait, maybe if Inside Out had Bill Murray doing the grossest stuff imaginable, it wouldn't get that criticism.
What's that over there?
That's disgusting.
Number 4. Nostalgia Critic's review of Son of the Mask from Season 6. So every review from here on out I consider to be great or a nearly perfect video in my opinion. And the first of these is the previously mentioned Son of the Mask. I mean, how could I not put the video that got me into the Nostalgia Critic in the first place in my top 5? I don't want to say a whole lot about the movie itself because again, I think this deserves a separate video in its own right. But as for NC's review itself, this is like the textbook definition of a great review from him. Not only is the comedy on point, but the critiques are genuinely pretty great as well again. Of course, you have the bits like
Family fiction.
or him just overall talking about how disgusting and violent the movie is on all 5 senses.
Again, the images are creepy. They are so fucking creepy. It looks like every second it's on, the movie is trying to jump out and kill you. Look at the baby's face. It looks like something Gollum threw up in anime.
And then you have this skit involving none other than Santa Christ himself. Alright, that's it. I'm completely sold. I mean, you guys don't understand. Out of all the Nostalgia Critic characters, I mean, he's like right up there with Roger and Black Willy Wonka.
Oh! Black Willy Wonka?
That's right.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day.
Like I said, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I honestly like how the skit is used in this review. However, there are times where it does go overboard, but I think overall it's a funny inclusion into the video. Like, yes, I fully believe Satan himself would make this movie. I have no doubts about that. This is also one that I could rewatch constantly, and that's partially why it's up this high. I don't know. I just really like the jokes a lot in this review. Also, if you're wondering, yes, again, this is also one of the worst things Doug has ever reviewed, and again, this is not in the slightest whatsoever.
What are you doing?
Why is this happening?
Great. But come on, say Dada. Dada?
Mother.
Oh my God, what is happening? I can't. Please just make it stop. Oh my God, it's too much, Please stop. I can't. Number 3. Nostalgia Critic's review of Inspector Gadget from Season 4. Finally! We're in the top 3. And I'm going to be completely honest, this is up this high purely just because I find it to be some of Doug's best joke writing and gags. This is not a prank, I swear. Again, this is just another movie where I never watched the actual film itself, and instead I just watched Doug's review in place of it when I was younger.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But I finally did watch it a couple months ago, and if there's anything this movie proved to me, it's that Matthew Broderick has to be one of the most overrated actors of all time. Like, yeah, he was good in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, obviously, but genuinely, what other role has he done in movies he's been in that are good? Like the 98 version of Godzilla? Or the Tale of Despero? Wait, this guy was freaking Despero?
That's a lot of fish.
I will say, much like Alec Baldwin and Thomas in The Magic Railroad, he is like funny bad in it, which makes it a kind of so bad it's good type of movie, but it's still just completely awful.
Halt!
Why was it edited like that? What? And that's part of why I think this review is as great as it is, because Doug literally just has a passion and hatred towards Broderick, and it's literally just so goddamn funny to watch.
My God, is he bad? I'm sorry, this guy's a marvel. Truly a gift to bad acting. It's like he never knows which delivery to give, so he sorta stops halfway and decides to maybe go with another one. Maybe.
Then you have the one running bit where he finally just figures out the comedy formula that the film uses, and he goes like,
slapstick, huh? Idiot. Slapstick, huh? Idiot. Slapstick, huh? Idiot.
Or how he just points out the various amounts of inaccuracies to the movie and the original show it's based on. Wait, is that Mrs. Chalfont from freaking Twin Peaks?
Dr. Claw. First, they drop off Penny. Yeah, because it's not like she did much in the show. So let's just recap. Dr. Claw isn't called Dr. Claw. He doesn't own a terrorist organization called MAD. He sounds less like a monster and more like a fashion critic. And the fact that you never see him in the show is being replaced with seeing him all the time.
Also, how he just points out that this movie is literally 78 minutes long, yet the credits are like almost 10 minutes purely just so they could get the 75-minute runtime minimum.
Oh my God!
This is beyond desperate! You guys are really trying to get at least one laugh. Anything. Any measly little piece of shit giggle you can think of.
No! I gotta get out of here.
Doug has also gone on record like multiple times, even as recent as this year. This is not only one of the worst movies he's ever reviewed, but one of the worst films in his own personal top 10.
Just call. One word. Like Madonna.
But yeah, sorry that I keep repeating myself in some of these, but this one is also just overall really funny too. And it's just another one of those iconic reviews for me personally. Wait, I just realized this dude Matthew Broderick is literally married to Carrie Bradshaw.
Oh, hey. Hey. Hey, oh.
No!
Don't drink that coffee. You'd never guess. There was a lot of fish.
Number 2. Nostalgia Critic's review of Blues Brothers 2000 from Season 7. For a little bit, I did go back and forth between this and the number 1 spot, but I think this barely misses out in favor of getting runner-up. Unlike most of the previous ones where the comedy does most of the heavy lifting, this review, and again, I'm being 100% serious, is the most passionate I've seen Doug about a movie. And there's moments where he literally almost breaks character. This movie is that terrible.
Fuck it all. Because it doesn't matter if one of the Blues Brothers is a little kid. Or John Goodman. Or plotless. Or has a car that can do anything. Because, you know, who cares? Who cares at all that it's a timeless classic, the original? Yeah, who cares if we just want to fuck it up? I mean...
This features some of his best film critiques in a review probably ever. And that's mainly due to the fact how much he talks about his love for the original Blues Brothers movie.
No, I want to get this off my back. I want to get this off my back. The Blues Brothers is just this big symbol of Chicago. And it's funny, and it's creative, and it's musical, and it's fantastic. And when they tried to just half-ass it like this,
The jokes are still really great too for the most part, don't get me wrong. But I know a person with absolute passionate rage in their eyes when I see one, and this was it.
I'm disappointed in you, movie. The same people that brought us a comedy classic, an icon, something they make statues of, has 18 years to put together a follow-up. And this is what we get.
Oh my God. He literally did this in one take. That's how you know this is real. And if you've seen Blues Brothers 2000, he has every right to be this passionate. I mean, for one thing, it has 2000 in the title, yet it came out in 1998. So what is the 2000 in reference to? Like what, the 2,000 people that went to go see this piece of shit?
Bullshit.
Plus you add on the fact that there's no John Belushi. They add this random kid character seemingly so younger audiences and families would go see it, even though the original was more adult-oriented.
Bullshit.
But the biggest crime of all is, and I kid you not, it is basically just the exact same movie again, minus all of what made the original good. I fully agree with Doug too, especially when he's gone on record in his top 11 worst sequels video as well, saying this is just one of the worst ones ever made on top of just talking about it in this review. I think if I were ranking this just solely based on how well Doug reviews it in the video itself, this would honestly be number 1 in my opinion, but the actual number 1 spot I think just barely edges this one out.
He's a 130-year-old voodoo witch.
I think you need a hug.
Bullshit.
And my number 1 favorite Nostalgia Critic review is Nostalgia Critic's review of Master of Disguise from Season 6. I really don't know where this stands among Doug's most liked reviews on the channel, but to me, his Master of Disguise review is pretty much the closest thing to being a masterpiece of cinema. Not only does this have a good balance of film criticism and jokes, not only does it have some of the best NC crashers in the entire series, not only does it have my favorite background wall in any NC era, but this arguably has the best use of the demo reel style skit format, and I'm not even joking.
He repeats the word turtle over and over.
I still don't get it.
Well, fuck you. I thought it was funny.
I mean, you got the fart joke journey bit with Malcolm.
You've totally changed my outlook on what bowel humor is capable of.
Critic, wise man once said, when the story is over, close the book.
Wait, who the hell said that?
Did you just quote the first Herbie movie?
Maybe.
Oh, okay, it all makes sense now. And then you have Rachel taking everything the Nostalgia Critic does seriously is absolutely amazing.
What is going on? No, seriously, what is going on? What is all this?
It's my birthday.
Oh. Well, get out of here!
The fart joke especially I find to be the funniest thing in this entire review.
Fart joke! Fart joke! God damn it, movie! You killed the fart joke!
No! I tried to save it!
Everything about it is near perfect, and as a review I honestly still watch from time to time. Also, like I said before, it also features probably the best NC crash out in any review, bar none, and easily the most reasonable one.
Want to know how I got these scars? I can't wait to show you my toys. I'm an idea.
And the fact that the fart joke bit ends up being funnier in execution than the actual fart joke in the movie is the cherry on top.
I am the breaking of the wind.
Literally some of Doug's best work, and as I said, the Blues Brothers 2000 review I almost put a #1, but I think this is just slightly better based on how I rank these by the criteria. Also, fun fact, this one also includes a 10-minute credit sequence even though this movie is only 80 minutes long, much like Inspector Gadget did as well with its credits.
Hour and 12 minutes long. God, it feels such an eternity longer, but nevertheless, that's the running time. So, they literally fill up 8 minutes of credits with bloopers, alternate takes, deleted scenes.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Well, I've finally done it. I've officially ranked my top 11 favorite Nostalgia Critic reviews. If there's one thing I learned while rewatching all of Doug's old reviews and even some of his newer stuff, is that he's honestly shown a good amount of times that he can make some really good quality reviews when the time calls for it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some reviews that I either don't really agree with at all, or the film criticism just boils down to insert CinemaSins joke here.
Truvius is right. He's a master builder that should have no problem taking on a few f***ing peon robots like these. But all he does is summon up a flock of seagulls to attack them and is immediately shot? What the
But I'd honestly say most of his reviews are pretty good for the most part. He's done like maybe 4 to 5 flat-out bad ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm like Jesus! I'm Jesus! Feel sorry for me!
But I'd say most of them are like 6 out of 10 quality or better. But no matter how much time has passed, I will always appreciate Doug for being one of the first people I watched on this site, and honestly just inspiring me into wanting to review movies from a more critical angle. I know that may seem silly to say since, again, he mainly just does clip show reviews or skits, but I truly will always have a soft spot for this man. So, who is the Nostalgia Critic? Well, the answer's been there since the very beginning. He remembers it, so you don't have to. Actually, I lied. None of these count because they don't have Roger in it.
Me, Roger! It was Roger all along! Roger! 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 I'm Roger! I'm the one! Roger. In Coolsville sucks!